Okay, we're going to be looking at the answers for IELTS General Training, book number 13, test number 2. And you should have already done the done this test, because I'm looking only at the answers here. We're not going through the test this time. Okay, so the first one was talking about an online roommate finder in Toronto. And it's a true, false, not given, so it's going to be in order. So once I've found the answer for number 1, I don't need to look anywhere in that text to find answers 2 down to 7. Okay, so starting off with the room itself, available has 2 beds, and you'll straight away, it'll be the first thing that they would say, and it's fully furnished with a double bed. Now, double bed is a single bed that has got space for 2 people to sleep in it, but that does not mean it's 2 beds, so this is false. Okay, the Australian in Sasha's apartment is a musician. Now, if you look over here, Simon, he's from Australia, and he is a great drummer, and a drummer is a type of musician, so this is correct. Then Sasha does all the cleaning in the apartment. Remember, look out for words like all, and that's absolutely rubbish, because I enjoy cleaning in my spare time, but sometimes we do it together as a roommate team. So the word all shows that this is false. Sasha likes being in the open air. Yes, we've got the word here. He likes to be in the outdoors. Okay, so that is true. Okay, remember, Sasha says I here, so everything's I'm Sasha, so I love watching movies, so it must be talking about Sasha. Number 5, the room available would be suitable for someone who likes to be quiet. Now, this I found quite strange, actually. It's more likely to say someone who likes silence, somebody who likes the quiet. But to be quiet suggests that that person himself is quiet, as in somebody who doesn't talk much. And I couldn't find anything here about somebody who doesn't talk much. So I don't really like the way that number 5 is phrased, because over here it says that it shouldn't disturb you if people come round and besides. Sorry, here it is. The bedroom is a long way away from the living room, so it shouldn't disturb you if people come around. Okay, and we are very respectful. So really, the answer should be written, the question should be written with silence, and that's why I understand if you didn't get this one, because it's not written here that this person is a quiet person. Anyway, the answer technically for this for number 5 is true. Number 6, Sasha thinks her apartment is the best in Toronto. Watch out for words like best and all. No, here it says it's a great neighborhood, lots of character, plenty to do, but it certainly doesn't say it's the best in the whole of Toronto, so this is an NG example. Okay, and again, another word like this, never. It doesn't make sense to say never unless they explicitly say it. And here we're certainly interested in living with Canadians as well. They say that they're happy to welcome people from other countries in Toronto, but if there's a Canadian who's interested in living here, we also want them. But it doesn't say that she's never, or he's, sorry, never. Is it he or she? I'm actually not sure. Anyway, this one is, again, a not given, because it doesn't say that she or he has never had a roommate from Canada. Okay, so for this one here, you had to choose which app the statements are true for. Okay, and again, there's that NB, very important. You may use any letter more than once. Okay, so look out for these bits of rubric to help you. Okay, so number 8, this app can be used for more than one sport, and I found this one for C. So we've got the word sport here. It allows you to track your performance, and then you can use it for fitness tools to track your progress. And there's the word here, run or cycle. Okay, so these 2 words separated with the word or suggests it can be used for both. So that one is C. Okay, then number 9, you have to pay if you want this app to suggest where you go. Okay, sorry, let's just put this more than one. Remember, this is a comparison word. And you have to pay, there's the key word there. So this one here is D. okay, because you've got the pro version, okay, in relation to the free version. And the pro version gives you a chance to add possible routes. There it is, okay. And yeah, voice coaches. So if it doesn't explicitly say that the app will be giving you the route, whereas this one does say suggest. You can add possible routes, but what if I've made the routes? Because yeah, you could make the route and then add it or put it onto this fast track device. Anyway, according to the answer, this one is down here with D. Okay, although it's going to annoy me that it's not explicitly saying that the keyword here is suggest where to go. Okay, next one has well presented visuals. So the keyword here is visuals, and a nicely designed map view. So we've got D as well here. Okay, map view here, and well presented, nicely designed. Okay, then this one here, you do not have to pay for any of the features. So do not have to pay. And this one here is there's no mention of a pro version or a paid version. It's all these features are in one free app. So that's the answer for number 11. Now number 12, you can pay to download true stories on this app. Okay, so again, there's the word pay and then true stories. And this one here is talking about so including tales, stories, another word for tales, are past sporting heroes. You can listen while you run, okay? And it has in-app purchases, the keyword purchase, which means pay. Highlighting the wrong one. Okay, so that one is B here. And then you can get ideas about where to go from other people on this app. Okay, the keyword there, other people. And so here, you can find user-created routes on this map or share your own. So both of those suggest that other people are able to give ideas. So that one is C. And then number 14 gives you details of the energy that you've used. So details of the energy. And here we've got the calories burned. So you should know what calories are to help you to understand the answer for 14. Okay. So there we go. Okay, now we're going on to section 2. And this is probably a handout from somebody who's talking about team management or management in general, and why you should delegate tasks when you are the manager. And I'll check, you can see what the meaning of delegate is up here. Okay, so for number 15, the important words are ensure team members are aware of any something that are regarding how the work should be presented. Okay, so the keyword here is presented. The way that work should be done is another word for done. So they need to be aware. You need to tell them from the beginning, I expect it to be done this way. Okay, and in fact, the word that I've just used there gives you the answer. Okay, because a clear definition of the task. And if you look over here, you can see expectations. Okay, it's the only word, because I need a noun here. Oops. The only word that can fit here is a noun because of the word any. So they need to be informed of any expectations. expectations there are regarding how the work should be presented. So clear definition of the task, so you can see why that's the only possible answer here. Okay. Number 16, make sure that support is made available if any something exists, okay, as the team member's ability to do the work. Okay, so the key word here is support. So we're looking for something like help, and there we got the word help, and then so here, if you have concerns, worries that someone doesn't have the skills to do the job, make sure you offer them help. So help refers backwards in this case, and make sure support is made available if any concerns exist. It's another way to say if there are or have. So exist is a very formal way to say there are or we have concerns. So concerns exist as to the team member's ability to do the work. So if you're worried that they don't have the skills to do a job, then you need to give them help to do it. Okay. Number 17, ask the team member to detail how the work is developing. For example, here's the key word here. So we're looking for examples by providing a regular what. Okay. And so if we look for some examples, there's the word like as another way to say for example. So like through a report once a week. Okay. So sorry, here it is. So once you've given them a task, let them get on with it. Let them do it. But if you want to know how it's going, then ask for one report a week as an example. So regular report. Okay, and remember, don't put an S there. We've already got R here, so grammatically it wouldn't fit anyway, but never change the word structure. Number 18, don't delegate administrative tasks simply because they are. Okay, and this keyword here is it's simply in this case like don't just because they are. And I would imagine that some tasks are very dull, very boring. So I looked for a word that meant boring, and I could see that there. And so don't delegate tasks such as boring or dull administrative ones just because you don't want to do them. That's not fair. You need to do boring work as well. So the key word, they don't use the word boring, they use the word dull. So you need to use that exact same word. Okay. Number 19, managers can ask a team member to check on the achievement of something at fixed intervals. Okay, so the keyword here is somebody else. Ask a team member, not you yourself, to check on the achievements of what. Now, what would you achieve? You could say task. If you look for the word task, you could find it, but I couldn't find that word until I saw this here, a weekly target. So you achieve a target, and that is a collocation. So I knew when I saw that, in this case, fixed intervals relates to weekly. Oops, so T-A-R-G-E-T. And there's an S, so I must put an S here. And these are small mistakes that can cost you the 0 point if you forget to put the S, so make sure you do. Now 20, if you risk delaying the whole project. Okay, so the word is delay, and where is it here? Don't micromanage, but if you're not sure what that means, you need to look further. So you risk delaying, let's have a look. Prevents progress. Okay, so that, now that we found this word and we've seen the word prevents progress, or the phrase prevents progress, let's just check. So don't become the problem on your project that prevents progress just because you're afraid to leave people alone to get on with their jobs, to do their jobs. And now we can generally get the idea of what micromanaging is. Okay, and that means Okay, I didn't have space, so I put it there. And if you're not sure what micromanage is, we'll have a look here at the definition. Okay. Okay, now we are looking at choosing the right format for your CV. Okay, some information about how to best structure your CV. Okay, and nicely, fortunately at least, they have given you the areas to look at in the text to find the answers. So something is very common. This is extremely popular, this chronological CV. So first job at the top, first job I ever did, last job at the bottom. Okay, and this provides you, there's the word provide, gives you flexibility because it works on almost all circumstances relating to the word cases. Flexibility. Okay, and then number 22, perhaps inappropriate if there are periods where something, so where there are gaps, where there's no, where you didn't work. So the exception, so here it's inappropriate, so very good, usually good, 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 but the exception being if you have blocks of unemployment. Okay, and look here, there's only one word, so I can't say blocks of unemployment. Which word of these is most important? It must be unemployment. Okay, unemployment is the answer for here. Is not easy to explain, difficult to account for. Okay, right. Now the next one is functional, so we're looking at this part, and this is appropriate for people who intend to follow a new something in their career. Okay, so this would be a new career path, so path maybe, because career and path are often collocates, but this is typically used by people who have extensive gaps in their employment history or have changed jobs. Okay, and they want to go in a different direction. Okay, so follow a new. Now I expect some people might have put job here, but remember that says jobs, so I can't follow a jobs because that's grammatically impossible. So the only possible here is direction. And if you change direction in your career, it means you change jobs. Okay. This is suitable for recent graduates, so people who have just finished university or college, and that can create something in recruiters. So it is best used with caution. So I'm saying be careful. Something about they would see this with suspicion. Okay, and this format is used to cover patchy employment history, so some interviewers may see this as suspicious. So it can create something. Okay, and the word there, suspicion. Okay, used with caution. So people should be careful if you use it. Okay, and now achievement, short one here, focuses on what the person has achieved, and it may be advisable, okay, if the person has no experience in the area. So this can show your suitability for a role that you have no experience in. So it'll show you the achievements that you've made in other jobs that will contribute to your ability to do this job. And so if that's an achievement focused CV, that might work. Oh, sorry, why am I writing achievement? No experience. In the area of work at least. Okay, and now a non-traditional, this is people who are in the creative industries and advertising, for example. They might use a more imaginative type of CV. So this allows for attractive use of, now we can find this through graphics, images, which is unusual in a CV, right? Okay, which represents data. And it suits applicants for jobs in marketing, and I said advertising, but we'll see if we can find it. Marketing, or find the word media. Oh, here it is. And also work for the people who are going into media too. Okay, so working in a magazine, for example, with demonstrating your ability to lay things out, make it look pretty, present information in a clear yet beautiful manner. Okay, now finally we move on to section 3. And in this section, as I said, this looks quite similar to an IELTS academic style text. So if you want more practice of this, if you're a general training student and you want to really improve on your grades in section 3, then by all means do some of the academic tests. This will help you. Okay, so we're talking about this Tong Qian Long, which is mentioned in the first paragraph right here. So this is we can see straight away this is a summary. So it's probably a summary related to the first 2 paragraphs here. I'm trying to do this without that scratching up, because it starts moving on to Tyrannosaurus rex straight away. So I'm looking over here. And this species of dinosaur has only recently been found in the area of China. So I can see the word China over here. I would have underlined that when I was doing my preliminary reading. Scientists believe that it was bird-like in appearance and probably no bigger than, and then we've got the size of a, and then we've got the word sheep. And it's believed to have eaten, so its main source of food was probably shellfish, because it had a type of beak that it was using to open shellfish. And if you're not sure what shellfish is, have a look up there. Okay, and we've seen the word beak already. Okay, again, a word that you might want to know. Okay, which allowed it to get through the hard exterior of the shell of the shellfish. Okay, the fossil was found surrounded by, and we can see it there, it was discovered in rock itself, and that it hardened from ancient mud. Okay, so surrounded by rock under the ground were the foundations of a new something. So a new something was being dug. So this was in China somewhere, and they were excavating a site in order to build and the answer there, build a school. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, now we're moving on to question 33, which is a multiple choice question, which does take quite a lot of time to get through because there's lots of reading you have to do. Remember, multiple choice question, always try to write your own words here before looking at the options, because 3 distractors are trying to take your eyes away from the correct answer. So finding new dinosaurs, that's the key word here. And if we look at this, we can see that new dinosaurs are appearing everywhere these days, about 50 each year. Okay, so appearing everywhere suggests that the way he's writing it, this suggests that they're very common, and here we've got this word common, so the answer for this one is D. Okay, in the 4th paragraph, so 1, 2, 3, 4, this one over here, what does the writer suggest about paleontologists? Okay, so these people are the ones who study the dinosaurs, and here we've got paleontologists must rely on studying fossils. Some are convincing. Okay, so it's clear that the bones are, we know the size of dinosaurs, for example. We know that they were probably warm-blooded. Other paleontologists, however, use the same fossils to suggest that dinosaurs were somewhere somewhere between cold-blooded reptiles and warm-blooded birds. So some say that this is convincing, others say this is convincing, and more studies are required. So it's not clarity. So the key word here is that there are different ways of interpreting evidence. Okay, so this one is B. Number 35, when describing the theory of how dinosaurs began to fly, the writer is, so we're looking for the word fly because I don't want to look at the options yet. I want to see if I can work it out myself. And we're looking for the word fly or some equivalent, and we would have to look for something like wings, okay? And this one was a bit tricky one because you had to go right to the bottom to see that basically he's just very excited about future or further research. So this one here is C. Okay. It doesn't say he was confused because this made the keyword here is confused, and that doesn't it's not mentioned here at all. He's not amused. He doesn't find this funny. Because especially that it came out by chance. So the only option here is C. None of these fit A, B, and D. Okay, number 36, one significance of these things. Now, that's an example of a piece of jargon, so I know straight away I just need to look for that exact word, and it's sitting over here. And so one significance is that they, and this is also a case of eliminating answers that cannot be to get to the final one. And the best one for this one is A. Because it provides further evidence here. It says yet another thing that links them to modern birds. Okay, so this the word them refers all the way back to this melanosome, so it does require you understanding the entire text, at least this entire bit of the paragraph. So this one is A. And then 37, which of the following best summarizes the writer's point of view in the final paragraph? Okay, and all of this is talking about an asteroid happened in Mexico, caused wildfires, winds, tidal waves. Asteroid again is mentioned. None survived. So all of that is related really to D here, the effects on the dinosaurs, the fact that it actually killed most of the dinosaurs. The few that did survive became birds. Okay. All right. Okay, so now just 3 more to go. Match each statement with the correct type of animal, prehistoric animal. And remember, again, there's the NB. You may use any letter more than once. Okay, so it may have used feathers to frighten off members of the same species. So it would flare up the feathers, and the same animal, it's another animal, but of the same species, would run away. Okay, and this one here, they were probably, the feathers were for display, okay, either to attract mates or to scare off rivals. Rivals are of the same species, but animals that are trying to take their females, for example. Okay, so that one is D. Okay, and it resembles a large flightless bird that exists today. So we need to think about a few large flightless birds that exist today, and I know 2 of them. There probably are more, but one of them is ostrich in southern Africa, or Africa generally, and the other one is an emu, which you'll find in Australia. So if we can find anything like that, we might be able to. So I was talking about such creatures were too large to fly. Here we go, there's the word ostrich. Okay, and so again, this is a repeat more than once. You've got the answer D here. So it's ostrich-like. Okay, and then 40, finding this species made scientists revise their opinion on the brain power of dinosaurs. So one of them is talking about extremely intelligent. Okay, and so we need to find something about intelligence. got the word intelligent over here. So proved that dinosaurs were far more dynamic, flexible in their ability to change their behavior, and intelligent than previously thought. So the answer for this one is C. Okay, so I hope that was useful for you. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these answers, and I'll see you in the next video.